Why are you single? Between the trust issues and not being in the best position I decided to wait. There's supposedly a lot of time. BC, when I took the girl I love on a trip of a lifetime, it turned into a Ben Stiller film. I don't have a reason to get a girlfriend. I don't see the point of a relationship, getting married or having kids. It might be my depression taking over, but I've been thinking about it a lot lately and I came to the conclusion that it doesn't matter if you live/die alone. I'm not old enough yet. Don't have enough money to permanently move to Denmark. Also low self-esteem. I am too lazy to take care of myself just for the sake of finding a relationship. Had 2 relationships. First one was just out of curiosity of what relationships and love is like. Too bad the girl was a liar and just outright obnoxious. That relationship didn't survive long. A year after, I managed to rebuild my contact with an old friend, and I admit I did have feelings for her. So out of curiosity, and to actually learn what relationships and love really is, I confessed and she did too. We were doing good for almost 2 years, although some slight trouble, until quarantine came. We couldn't see each other and thought it was a bummer, and like any other fellow during quarantine, you try to find ways to entertain yourself. I watched anime and play games all day long, doing some stupid stuff here and there. But then it occurred to me, I actually enjoy time with myself better than with someone else. And I realized at that time I was talking to her less and less. At that point, I couldn't care less about conversing with practically anyone and decided that I'm not cut out for relationships yet. Of course, the mature thing to do here is to break up, right? Well, it's a bit hard for that at that time. I know what you're gonna say, it's hard? It's just a simple let's break up and poof, it's done. Well, true, that is simple enough, but what makes it hard is a few months later would be our biggest exam in our life. So if I were to break up an almost 2-year relationship out of nowhere to her just like that while all this stress with the exam is here, well, it wouldn't end pretty well. So I don't really care much about the exam, but I'm still a human that cares that much about others, okay? So I held back from telling her to break up. I lied to her by saying we should take a break, only to tell her to break up after the exams. One hell of exams later, and a few months later, she called and asked me again, and here's where I dropped the truth bomb. Of course she cried a bit and was expecting it, and settled down as to just be friends. Months later, and I haven't talked to her since. Through this second relationship I decided that love and loving another is way too much for me. I prefer being alone. I forget how to socialize around girls. I hate everyone. Multiple reasons. 1. Realized I wasn't happy and didn't know who I was without being in a relationship. I'm 40 and have been in one long-term relationship after another since 18. 2 marriages, 4 kids, was on track to be married again and walked away so I wouldn't repeat the cycle. I've never taken time to just be me, to just be a father, to even take care of myself, still have a hard time doing that. 2. 4 kids under 16. What time? 3. Currently co-parenting with my ex, living in the same home so all the kids can be together. It would be a hassle and somewhat awkward to be in another relationship. 4. I'm a liberal bisexual Buddhist living in a deep red state. I'm kind of iffy on the possibilities of a match even if I wanted to pursue one. There are just more important things at the moment, I suppose. Though I do look forward to maybe exploring that option again in the future. After my kids and myself have been nurtured and grown. Every girl and myself agree that I'm not very good looking. Short answer, I just really like to hang out with myself, in my own space, with my own dog, and no one else's bullshit but my own. Not being in a good mental state for it, wouldn't be fair to the other person. Because being in a relationship is haram and I look down on everyone who loses their virginity before getting married. Because I haven't liked anyone in a long time. 'Cause I use sites like Reddit. Gestures generally at myself. All my coworkers are guys and I don't know where to meet girls. Because 13-year-olds don't count. I unconsciously turn people down. For some reason my brain goes virgin mode. By choice, not my choice. Apparently all the women in the world got together and decided. I put my education and success above a social life and now don't know anyone to date. I suppose I'm either not physically attractive or mentally attractive enough. Or I'm just a bit of a dick, some say this. I never found anybody who wanted me. There is not someone for everyone, there just isn't. Personally, I would like to be dating, but I have had a series of unfortunate events that have kept me single. I was in school 2 years ago and had to gently parry some advances, due to work, school, and stress. I couldn't devote the time or attention needed to maintain a relationship. I finally started getting a handle on all three and started flirting with a girl I had met recently. Things were going quite well until quarantine hit. As an asthmatic, I didn't want to risk catching COVID, so I went into full quarantine, never leaving except when necessary. I tried to keep in contact with her, calling every couple days and texting just about daily. She kept inviting me out to places and I would consider going, but the local death toll kept jumping, so I kept refusing. Despite my promises of going out the moment the vaccine was out, she went quiet for a week and then dropped me like a sack of rocks. Since then, I've wanted to meet someone new, but as an old-fashioned guy I don't trust dating apps or online dating. Since most places are closed these days, and with the development of the Delta variant, it sounds like I'll be single for a while. Perhaps I'll just get with the times and take a crack at eHarmony. Nothing special, I suppose, but a good chance to vent. Thanks, Op, it's nice to get it off my chest. I suppose I'm either not physically attractive or mentally attractive enough. Or I'm just a bit of a dick, some say this. I want to be. There's too much pressure placed on us to find someone. I'm good. Restraining order. I enjoy my peace and quiet. My boyfriend and I of 4.5 years broke up 2 days ago. I feel like I would be a decent partner to someone. I get along with coworkers and friends fine, even in more personal situations. I think there's some mixture of the lack of intimate social skills, depression, and insecurity that prevents me from even leaving my shell. I also think that the current social climate, at least in the US, over the past several years has led me to believe that everyone is out there just for themselves. I wouldn't want to be with anyone that doesn't have some sense of brother/sisterness with their fellow neighbors. The longer I go without another one, the easier it gets. This, along with horrible things happening the few times I did give it a shot again, has left me feeling like it's not worth the time, effort, or money. Left a bad relationship and finding self-happiness. I'm so happy to be single and look for the right person. Untreated depression and previous drug abuse has made me apathetic. I don't think I could fall in love again even if I wanted to. Anime. Chief, I ain't lying to you. I've tried not to be. I'm just not good at meeting people. I'm afraid maybe I am the problem. I'm not. I'm handsome and can get dates, but women are usually not interested in conversation with me for some reason. Because dating is hard and people don't treat each other like humans. I fell in love with a guy who lives 2 hours away by plane, and now he's seeing someone in his town. I'm disabled, so that limits things a bit. I have a learning disability, though you wouldn't know it just by talking to me. I don't drive and I live with my parents. I'd what my future will hold. I'm aiming too high. I move around the world too much. Because I have a Reddit account. Because I have nearly 150,000 Reddit karma. It's like a girl repellent. I suck at show emotion and probably a list of things that I haven't noticed. Cause my GF of 2 years didn't communicate her wants and needs, then lost feelings, then ran off after another guy she thought was the one for her. Even though the only reason is he's new after being used to me for 2 years. They're meeting up Earl next month XD. I chose not to do LDR. Stuck inside my home. Don't know any girls I want to meet. Meeting people feels like a chore. I don't want to talk to girls because I'm afraid they'll think I'm doing it to hit on them. I don't want to burden others with my issues. I want to be alone and have control over my life more than just attending another chore. I use Reddit. I'm not. I never make the first move. I am also a toxic person in relationships as I have a very immature approach to intimacy.